If you guys missed it, we saw one of the greatest celebrations of a walk-off home run in the history of baseball. Carlos Santana and the Pirates, they were having some fun. Ronald Acuña Jr. and Shohei Ohtani, they just refused to stop making history. And speaking of history, Mookie Betts, he made some history yesterday for the Dodgers. All of that in today's MLB Recap, a series in which we recap every single game, almost every single day. And a quick reminder, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek if you're going to any games or concerts anytime soon. Now, before we get into the games from yesterday, I do want to talk about some breaking news that isn't really breaking anymore. Aroldis Chapman is heading to the Texas Rangers. He has a 2.4 ERA on the season with an insane 16.3 strikeouts per nine. He's thrown 104 multiple times this year. Texas, they are 23rd in bullpen ERA, or you could word it as Texas has the 7th worst bullpen in all of baseball. So to me, this is a big trade because a first place team is trying to solve an obvious issue, and it marks the first time a big name player, I think that Chapman still classifies as a big name player, has been shipped. Who's next? Maybe it's someone on the Royals like Salvador Perez. Maybe it's someone like Scott Barlow, who is also in the bullpen for the Royals. Let me know who's going to get shipped next. This was one of the craziest games of the year, so make sure you stay until the end because, again, the entire game was absolutely bananas. Buckle up for this one. Graham Ashcraft and Seth Lugo, the starting pitchers, they were feeling themselves yesterday. Graham, he went 5 shutout before allowing a home run to Trent Grisham, but look at that right there. He strikes out Juan Soto in the 6th inning, and he hit Juan Soto with the Soto shuffle. Seth Lugo of the Padres, he went 6, and that lone run was a run that he did not really allow. It was an unearned run. Now, after he came out, Tyler Stevenson, he went yard. He was hitting .314 as a catcher over his last 9 games. After Matt Carpenter tied it on a sac fly, forcing extras, Tatis and Juan Soto, they decided to put this game to rest in the 10th inning. Those RBI base hits finally got San Diego into the win. Oh no. Matt McClain to outer space, 421 feet to tie it at 4 runs apiece. If Corbin Carroll wasn't up in the big leagues, the Reds would have like 3, 4, maybe even 5 Rookie of the Year candidates. Gary, he put the Padres back up by 1 in the top of the 11th. But like I've said multiple times this year, Cincy, they play better from behind. Ellie De La Cruz, he doubled in Jonathan India to tie it, and boom goes the dynamite. Spencer Steer, he rakes. That was a 435-foot 2-run moonshot for the win, and the Reds made some history. They became the first team ever to have 2 rookies hit a game-tying home run and a walk-off home run in extra innings. Spencer Steer is on pace for 26 home runs and 18 stolen bases as a rookie. Cincinnati has won 3 in a row. The Padres have lost 6 games in a row. Are they going to be sellers? They're 9 games back in the wild card and 11 games back in the West. Are they going to sell off Tatis or Soto? Who's going to get gone? That wasn't even proper English, but anyways, another insane game. This one is going to be a nail-biter as well between the Pirates and the Brewers. Now, Christian Yelich got it going on an RBI double. He finished the month of June with the 146 OPS plus. Milwaukee, they ended up with 4 runs when Andrew McCutchen and the Pirates decided to fight back. Kutch, he's hitting .287 on the year with 10 home runs and 9 stolen bases. Rookie Nick Gonzalez, he legged out his first career double, driving in 2 to make it a 4-3 ball game. And it's 5-3 now. Okay, make it 7-3. Owen Miller and Bryce Terang of the Brewers, they extended their lead. But as I hinted in the intro, this was a nail-biter. Andrew McCutchen and Captain Jack Sawinski, they teamed up for 3 runs between the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. The first 2 were on some singles, and the 3rd RBI was on a double from Andrew McCutchen. So now it's just a 1-run game. There's a duck on a pond for Carlos Santana, and that's ball game. Carlos left everything he hit out of the entire stadium. Carlos Santana in the month of June had 6 home runs, 19 RBIs, and an almost 140 OPS plus. He was really good. I need that home run trot celebration and MLB The Show more than I need air to breathe. All right, so the walk-offs are officially over. Let's talk about the Angels game first because future Hall of Famer Evan Longoria, at least as a future Hall of Famer in my opinion, he singled in the game's first run, and oh my lord, Lourdes, he cooled off a ton. He's only hitting 182 over the last month, but right there, that could build some confidence. It's 5-0 after that grand slam from Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Tommy Henry, he made sure that the Angels would not make a comeback. He struck out 8 Angels in under 6 innings. Now, he did allow 1 run, and that 1 run should have counted as 2 because Shohei went 493 feet on his 30th home run of the season. In the month of June, he had 15 home runs as a hitter and 37 strikeouts as a pitcher. In 384 career June at-bats, Ohtani is hitting .336 with 43 home runs. That's 1 home run every 8.9 at-bats in the month of June. Arizona, they do win easy though. The Angels, they've lost 3 in a row. They're firmly back in 3rd place, while Arizona, they're still 2 games up on the 2nd place Dodgers. Both Ronald Acuña Jr. and the Braves made some history in this one, and they really poured it on against the Miami Marlins. And the Marlins were feeling themselves coming to this game. They thought that maybe they were going to make a statement, but they got humbled real quick. You just saw Austin Riley double home Ronald Acuña Jr. and Olsen. He deleted his 27th baseball of the year. Eddie Rosario, out of nowhere, has 14 home runs, 40 RBIs, and Austin Riley, he got in on the fun as well. He has 15 home runs. Did Matty O do it again? Olsen, he's leading the entire National League with 28 home runs and 67 RBIs, and this is just unfair now. Sean Murphy, he tagged the Marlins for a home run as well. That one went 460 feet on that 2-run moonshot, and here's the history. Ronald, he became the first player ever with a 20 home run, 35 stolen base first half. If you did that over the course of a 162 game season, you would be happy. He did that in half the season. He hit .360 with 9 home runs and 14 stolen bases in June alone. The Braves hit 6 home runs in their final game of June, giving them 61 home runs, which is an NL record for the month of June. They also hit .307 as a team. The Braves offense is a complete cheat code. I can't believe it, but this next game almost ended in the exact same score. Tampa Bay had 15, so 1 less than the Braves, and the other team, the Mariners, had 4, just like the Miami Marlins. Now, Seattle actually went up 4-0 in this game when first-time All-Star Randy Arozarena, he locked in. He sent out a 2-run home run. Josh Lowe, he tied it, and it blows my mind that Josh Lowe, a guy with 12 home runs, 18 stolen bases, and a 135 OPS plus, is not going to be an All-Star. He doubled in 1 more in the 8th. And Tampa Bay, I don't know if they took out their anger in this lone inning. Like, I have no idea how they just popped off. They went off for 8 runs, 8 in the 8th inning, and then 3 more in the 9th. I almost don't know how to show it all. Jose Siri, maybe I'll just skip to this. He now has 16 home runs, and yeah, the Mariners, just like the Angels, have lost 3 in a row. The Mariners fall to a 38-42 record. I think that, I mean, are the Mariners good? They're good, right? On paper, they're really good. But Kelnick, I think he's hitting 200 over the last month, so he's got to get going again. The Guardians and the Cubs, this was one of those games where I knew that bad things were going to happen. I just felt it in my bones, so I didn't even bother watching it, and that was the right call. Chicago, they completely embarrassed the Guards with 2 runs coming on a Nick Madrigal single and 2 more off the bat of rookie Jared Young, his 2nd double in his first 3 games. Justin Steele, he tore up the Guardians. He didn't allow a single run. He struck out 6 of them. He lowered his ERA to 2.43, which is the best in all of Major League Baseball. Madrigal, he teed off. That's his first home run in 2 years. And Christopher Morel, well, he's up to 14 home runs in 2023 alone after that 2-run tank job. The Chicago Cubs, are they going to be sellers? I have no idea. They're just 5 games back of the Reds. If the Cubs can use this 10-1 victory to turn in a little win streak, they're right back into it. So should they be sellers or buyers? So if we're going to talk about the Guardians, we got to talk about the Minnesota Twins, because Minnesota said thank you very much to the Chicago Cubs, because the Twins, they made easy work of the Orioles, and they're back in first place. Royce Lewis, he played at the game's first run. He's still hitting over .330, and my friend, he's not hitting .330, but Joey Gallo now has 14 home runs. He's hitting .191, but still has an above average .114 OPS plus. That's the new age of baseball for you. Max Kepler, that's a 3-run home run. He's been Joey Gallo if Joey did not take walks, because Kepler has 11 home runs, which is good, but a terrible .203 batting average and a .274 on base percentage. Buxton, kind of the same story. He's hitting .208, but he has 14 home runs, and over his last 157 games, he's only hitting .217, but he has 42 home runs and a 122 OPS plus. Pablo Lopez, he cruised to an easy dub, allowing just 1 run on a solo home run to Adley Rutschman, so because it's Adley, no shame in that. Minnesota, they're back in first place by 1 game. The Nationals and the Phillies, one of the easier games of the entire year to recap, because 1 swing in the 2nd inning won the entire ballgame. I'm happy that was Stone Garrett, because that's one of my favorite names and coolest names in baseball, Stone Garrett. His 2-run tater was all that Josiah Gray needed, as he tossed 6 fantastic frames against a red-hot Phillies ball club. He punched out 8, and the Washington bullpen, they took care of the rest. Hunter Harvey, he struck out 2. He has 7 saves. The Phillies, their win streak ends as well, just like the Marlins. So we've talked about every single team in the NL East but the Mets, so let's go ahead and see what the Mets have in store for us today, huh? Alex Cobb and Carlos Carrasco, they both gave up 2 runs over 5 innings, and the second for the Giants came on a Wilmer Flores solo home run. That one tied it, but Jeff McNeil, he doubled in the bottom half to give the Mets their lead back. Tommy Pham, he's hitting .285 with 9 home runs, 9 stolen bases, and again, he is one of the hardest hitting hitters in baseball. But of course, what have the Mets been doing all year long? They've been blowing leads left and right, and usually the dependable David Robertson, he blew this one. Rookie Patrick Bailey, he connected on a 3-run go-ahead home run. He has 16 extra base hits and 26 RBIs in his first 33 games as a defensive wizard switch-hitting catcher. The unhittable Camilo Doval, he made light work of the Mets in the final inning. He has 24 saves, a 1.89 ERA. The Mets have lost 3 in a row. They're 10 games under 500 at 36 and 46, whereas the Giants, they've been playing really well. James Paxton and the Boston Red Sox really came out to play in this one versus their AL East rival, the Toronto Blue Jays. Justin Turner, he gave his starting pitcher a 1-0 lead in the 5th, and they got even more run support on some solo home runs from Jarren Duran and Masataka Yoshida. Duran is hitting .290 on the season with 25 extra base hits and 15 stolen bases with really good defense out there in center. Yoshida, he's hitting over .300 with 9 home runs and 40 RBIs, and James Paxton, a massive tip of the cap to him. The Big Maple almost went 8 shutout, striking out 7 and lowering his season ERA to 2.7. He's coming back from Tommy John and multiple injuries. He has 61 strikeouts in 50 innings. Listen, I know that Boston is not a very good team. They're not world beaters or anything, but Chaim Bloom, he got clowned on all offseason, and kind of rightfully so. He let go of Mookie Betts, JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts all over the last few years, faces of the franchise, but he actually picked up a lot of talent at a fairly low price, so I'm going to tip my cap to him as well. The Astros and the Rangers, we had ourselves a little home run derby as Jose Altuve, Josh Young, and Jonah Heim, they all belted home runs. Altuve, he's hitting .353 with 3 home runs over his last 9 games, and the All-Stars for Texas, Young and Heim, they both have an OPS plus over 120 on the season. Mauricio Dubon, he helped out greatly later in the 6th. He ties it at 4 runs on a 2-run double, and that's the game right there. A sac fly from Jake Myers ended up being the game's final run. Ryan Presley, he has 16 saves and a 2.8 ERA after a brutal start to the season. The Houston Astros have won 3 in a row. This was a massive win against the first place Rangers, so they're 4 games back of the Rangers. Let me know in the comments, who is your favorite in the AL West? The Astros, the Angels, or the Rangers? The Dodgers were taking on the Royals, and Mookie Betts had another monster game. This time, he tied some history in the process. That's his 9th leadoff home run of the year, which ties Jock Peterson for the franchise record. He ripped a 2nd home run later in the 3rd, upping his season total to 22. He is a slam dunk, first ballot Hall of Famer, set in stone, in my opinion. Hayward, Mr. Jason Hayward, his bounce back season continues. He doubled in Peralta right before Mookie grabbed his 3rd RBI of the day. Rookie Bobby Miller, he wasn't that good yesterday, but he managed to limit the damage as best as he could. Jason Hayward, he knocked home another. He has a very impressive 126 OPS plus and back-to-back games with 3 base hits. Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, they doubled in even more. So Mookie has 41 extra base hits and 55 RBIs. Freddie Freeman has 43 extra base hits and 53 RBIs. This team can absolutely rake. The Tigers and the Rockies rocked. Okay, sorry for that pun, but also not really. They did rock Detroit for 8 runs, starting off with 4 on some early singles. They got 2 from Harold Castro and 2 from Jerkson Profar. Skipping to the 6th, this Ezekiel Tovar kid is showing the heck out. After that 3-run home run, he ends the month of June with a .323 batting average with 5 home runs and 17 RBIs in June alone. Remember, he's also a sick defender. Pierce Johnson, even though he has a 6 ERA, he somehow was able to close this one out. He has 13 saves, which is kind of a lot. We have the White Sox taking on the A's. Esteury Ruiz stole his 41st bag of 2023, which means if he was playing in 2022, he would have been the 2022 stolen base leader. John Birdie led everyone in baseball last year with 41, so he's got 41 already. Talking about Ruiz, nothing came of that, but the A's, they got it going in the 2nd with Shea Langoliers singling in the 1st run, and Tony Kemp, he kept it going on an RBI triple. Carlos Perez, he got the A's up to 5 runs for Luis Medina, who was good. Like, the rookie starting pitcher struck out 5 and held Chicago to 1 run despite allowing 5 walks. The A's got 2 more in the 8th inning on a double from Jordan Diaz and a single from Jace Peterson. Luis Robert Jr., before we just end the recap, I gotta show this. He had 11 home runs, 4 stolen bases, and a 180 OPS plus in June. I still very much think that he should be starting in the All-Star game. Trevor May earned his 5th save of the year, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but the A's have 1 fewer win than the Royals. So who's been worse, the Royals or the A's? Obviously the A's, but the Royals, I thought that they were going to be way better. So that does it for today's recap. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and show these standings as we close this one out. Here's all the standings in the American League, and then we're going to shift to the NL right now. Let me know in the comments which teams have been the most disappointing, which teams have been surprising you the most throughout the course of the first few months of the season. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.